Welcome to our real life English class. You are going to learn grocery shopping words and phrases because you can use these every day. And we'll do this as a listen and repeat so you learn correct pronunciation and you feel comfortable listening to these when natives use them in fast spoken English. So let's first start with preparing. You need to prepare to go grocery shopping. And how can you do that? Well, you might say to someone in your home, I'm picking up groceries after work. I'm picking up groceries after work. I'll say this slowly and you can repeat after me. I'm picking up groceries after work. I'm picking up groceries after work. So notice here, we're using the phrasal verb pick up. I'm picking up groceries. In this sense, it means you're getting groceries. So you could equally say, I'm getting groceries after work. So you can get groceries. And then very casually, what natives often use is the phrasal verb pick up because you're taking the groceries from one location to another. So that's pick up. And it's in the present continuous because it's taking place now. And notice groceries, this is our noun and there's an S on it. So it's plural. I'm picking up groceries after work. So when was the last time you got groceries? That's to get groceries conjugated in the past simple, or the last time you picked up groceries in the past simple. Put that in the comments. Now, you might say this to your spouse, your roommate. Do you have time? Do you have time to get groceries after work? Notice that fast connected speech. Do you have? Do you have? Do you have? Do you have time? Do you have time? Do you have? Do you have time? Do you have? Do you have time to get groceries after work? Do you have time to get groceries after work? So you need groceries. Of course, that's the umbrella term to represent food, beverages, eggs, milk, butter, vegetables, meat, cheese, fish, grain. All of those are groceries, of course. So you're asking if someone can do this. Do you have time to get groceries after work? Okay. So Melina asked, can I say I have to do groceries? No, I have to get groceries today because my fridge is completely empty. I have to get groceries. If you use do, you do shopping. So I have to do the grocery shopping. So I have to do shopping, but do what type of shopping? Grocery. No S because it's an adjective. I have to do grocery shopping after work, but it would be more common to say, I have to get groceries today. I have to get groceries today. Okay, how about this one? Can you check if we need butter? So if you're preparing a list, a grocery list, well, then you might ask someone in your house. Maybe you're at work and you're preparing the list. So you don't know if there's butter in the fridge. Can you check if we need butter? 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 So here the verb is to check. In this case, the person is going to go into the fridge or go into the cupboards and look if there is butter. They're going to verify, yes, we have butter. No, we don't have butter. Can you check if we need butter? So the person will reply and say, we need butter. Add butter to the list. Get butter. Or, no, we don't need butter. You don't have to get butter. You don't have to pick up butter. How about this time? This one. I'm making the list. Notice here the collocation is make. Make in the sense of prepare or create. So butter, milk, eggs. Of course, you can do it on your phone as well. It doesn't have to be a piece of paper. You would still make the list, and the list is the grocery list, the grocery list. So the items that you need. I'm making the list. Do we need butter? So again, you're asking the person. You can use, can you check if we need butter? You can use this exact sentence or just simply, do we need butter? Do we need butter? And you can replace butter with whatever you want. Just be careful because a lot of food items are uncountable. So you wouldn't say butters with an S because butter is uncountable. But let's say it's carrot. Well, that you would need the S. Do we need carrots? Do we need carrots? So be careful with your singular and plural. A lot of food items are uncountable. Azam said, yep, we're out of butter. Yep, we're out of butter. We're out of butter. So that's how you would say it like a native. We are, the contraction, we are, were, very unstressed. Were. Out of, outa, we're outa, we're outa, we're outa, we're outa, we're outa. And then butter, those two T's will become a soft D. Der, butter, butter, butter. We're out of butter. We're out of butter. We're out of butter. Okay. Exactly, Alexander. Do we need to put butter on the list? Exactly. The grocery list. Excellent job. Exactly. We're out of butter. We're out of butter. Yeah, the shopping list, the grocery list. Exactly. How about this? So you're doing your list. This is what I say most days that I make my grocery list. We're basically out of everything. I don't know about you, but I basically get the same groceries every week. And I only go grocery shopping once or twice a week. So I have to get basically everything. Everything represents the food that is part of my regular diet. So if my husband asks me, what do we need? What groceries do we need? What do we need? I'll just say everything. We need everything. We're basically out of, that's what we just reviewed, outa. We're basically out of everything. Outa, out of everything. We're basically 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 out of everything. So put our normal items on the list. And out of, the meaning is that you have none left. So if I say this pen is out of ink, this pen is out of ink, it means I can't write because there is no ink left. How about this? Can you pick up some strawberries for the weekend? Can you pick up some strawberries for the weekend? So here's an example of a food item that is plural because you don't go to the grocery store and get one strawberry, right? So a lot of items, food items, are uncountable. A lot of them are also always plural because you don't buy one strawberry, one blueberry, one grape. So a lot of items are plural. Can you pick up? Pick up, we already talked about this. Listen to that pronunciation. Can you pick up? Pick up. So notice how the sounds divide. We have two sounds. Pick up. Pick up. Can you pick up? Can you pick up? Can you pick up some strawberries for the weekend? For the weekend. Can you pick up some strawberries for the weekend? So pick up just means get. Can you get some strawberries? You could say, can you buy? But we don't commonly use the verb buy. We usually just say get. or pick up, but you could say buy because you are purchasing the strawberries. Can you pick up some strawberries for the weekend? Now, you may add for the and then or for and then whatever the specific meal is for dinner tonight, for lunch tomorrow, for our picnic on Sunday. So you can specify because maybe it's not normal to get strawberries. So the person might be like, why do we need strawberries? So you can add that. This is a good example of one lettuce that is uncountable. So here's a good question for everyone. And I have taught this in a lesson. So if you practice and review my lessons and you've watched this one, hopefully you know the answer. You can say, can you pick up 2 lettuce? You need to use a quantifier, a unit of measurement. Does anyone know what that unit of measurement is? For example, pieces of advice. Here are 2 pieces of advice for you. So pieces is the unit of measurement. So who knows what the unit of measurement for lettuce is? All right, we'll see if someone gets the answer. Mirik, exactly. Heads of lettuce. Can you pick up 2 heads of lettuce? Heads of lettuce. So if you want to be specific, because if you just say, can you pick up lettuce? Can you pick up some lettuce? Well, how much? So the lettuce that comes in one group, we refer to that as a head, a head. Can you pick up 2 heads of lettuce? 2 heads of lettuce. Yeah, it's the balls of lettuce. We just call them heads. Exactly, exactly. How about this? We're low on protein bars. Do you want more? So if you're going through the fridge, you're going through the cupboards, now maybe your son, your brother, your roommate eats protein bars. So you're asking them, do you want more? Do you want more? Do you want me to pick up to get more protein bars? Do you want more? We're low. What does that mean? We're low on. We're low on. We're low on your protein bars. So you could just say we're low on protein bars. Adding your, it just makes it sound like that one person is the only person in the household who eats protein bars. Do you want more? We're low on your protein bars. We're low on your protein bars. Do you want more? Do you want more? We're low on your protein bars. Do you want more? Yeah, almost out. That's a good one. Or a small amount. A small amount. A small amount. Yeah, this is a good, Alexander. We're about to run out of protein bars. So if you got a box of 20 protein bars, and now in that box, there are only 2 protein bars, it means you're almost at 0. So you can describe it as we're about to run out, we're almost at 0, or we're low. So the quantity is small. Either one works. You could also say, yeah, we're running low on protein bars. Yeah. Low on does not mean out of, because if you say we're out of protein bars, we're out of your protein bars, it means 0. Out of means 0. Low means a small quantity of, and we're running out of also means a small quantity of. All right. Yeah, you could we no longer have protein bars. You would say we're out of. We're out of protein bars. We're out of protein bars. Do you want more? Okay, so that's preparing. Now you have your grocery list, your shopping list. So you're on your way to your favorite store. This is not my favorite store. I do not like going to this store, mainly because of this on the screen, parking. So let's talk about parking. This is specific to a very busy grocery store, or if you go to a grocery store in a very busy part of town. Now, before we do, I have this free speaking guide for you. You can download it from my website, absolutely free. I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. So just enter your name and email, and this will be emailed to you. So make sure you get it. And also, I want to make sure you're enjoying this lesson. You're learning new phrases, new vocabulary, new pronunciation, new grammar. Put yes, 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 yes. Like this lesson, subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new one. And let's keep going. And we will focus on parking. Parking. How about this one? The store's always crazy after work. The store is always crazy after work. The store's always crazy after work. The store is always crazy after work. What does this mean? If you say to someone, oh, Costco, that store is always crazy after work, or whatever name of busy grocery store you can think of. For me, it's Costco. The store is always crazy after work. Thank you so much, Ariel, for your generosity. I appreciate that. So the store is always crazy. In this context, crazy just means busy. So you can replace the word crazy with busy. The store is always busy after work. And it would mean very busy, very busy. So if someone asks you, how is your day? Oh, crazy, crazy. It sounds like your day was very busy, or there was a lot of chaos, a lot of new things, changes, tasks. The store is always crazy after work. How about this one? It's impossible to find a spot. It's impossible to find a spot. So here, remember, this is the context of parking. So in order to understand what the words mean, because vocabulary can have different meaning depending on context, you always have to ask yourself what the context is. So in this case, the context is parking. It's impossible to find a spot. It is impossible. So you're just talking about the situation. It's impossible to find the spot. So notice that linking there. To find the. It's impossible. Impossible. So pa, that's the stress syllable. It's impossible to find a spot. To find a spot. It's impossible to find a spot. So, what do you say this about? Where you go grocery shopping, maybe even where you work, when you go downtown, when you go to a concert, what would you say this about? How about this one? I've been driving around for 10 minutes and I still can't find a spot. Now, if you're in a parking lot and you are in the process of parking, you don't have to say a parking spot because it's obvious. Native speakers, we don't give information if it's obvious. If there's no context at all, then you can say a parking spot. I just found a great parking spot and it was really cheap as well. So if there's no context, you can say parking spot. If the context is obvious, there's no need to do it. And you can just say a spot, a spot. And this is the location where you're available to park. I've been driving around. What's the verb tense here? I've been driving around for 10 minutes. Is the present perfect continuous because the action started in the past and it continues until now. We use for, the word for, duration of time. We use since, a starting point in time. I've been driving around for 10 minutes and I still can't find a spot. Okay. Yes, a spot represents a place to park. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Parking is challenging here. Exactly. You can say that. How about this? So, if you're shopping with someone, there's someone else in the car with you, and you're driving, you're looking around, and you ask the person, "Do you see any spots? Do you see any spots? Do you see any spots? Do you see any?" Notice that connection with a y. See any. Do you see any spots? 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 And then hopefully the person says, yes, there's one. There's a spot. Or no, I can't find any spots. How about this one? Or hopefully they say, I think there's a spot at the end of this row. I think there's a spot at the end of this row. They're saying, I think, to express some uncertainty. Because if you just say, there's a spot at the end of this row, it sounds certain. I don't know about you, but I have done this many times where I thought there was a spot. So I quickly go down the row, but then it's just a smaller car. And then once I get closer, there's a car there, but I couldn't see it because there was a larger car blocking the view. So it looked like an empty spot, but it wasn't. So you can add on I think to express some uncertainty. I think I think there's a spot at the end of this row. Okay, so when you are in a parking lot, there are going to be rows. And you usually snake around. So notice that you snake around. You go up one row, you come down one row, you go up one row, you come down one row, just like a snake. So you snake around trying to find a spot. And what you're driving on is called a row in a parking lot. In a parking lot specifically, we call those rows. At the end of this row, at the end of this row. I think there's a spot at the end of this row. Or you can say to your friend, that car's backing out. Quick, grab it. That car's backing out. What does that mean? Phrasal verbs have different meanings depending on context. Remember, so you always have to think about context. This is the context of parking. That car's backing out. That car is backing out. So this apostrophe S represents the verb to be, is the auxiliary verb for the present continuous. The phrasal verb is to back out. You back out of a spot, which is this. That is to back out. So when you exit your parking spot, okay? So to exit, you back out, back out. That car's backing out. Quick, grab it, grab it. So what does that mean? Grab it. In this context, it means get that spot. Take the spot. grab the spot. So you can use grab as an informal way of saying get or take. Quick, grab it, grab it. It being the spot, the parking spot. Okay, yeah, exactly. The car is leaving. The car is leaving. That car is leaving. And you could absolutely say that. That car's leaving. Quick, grab it. It being the parking spot. Okay. So that's a good one for sure. And yes, Ariel, you can absolutely say that car is. You just need the verb to be because pulling is in the present continuous. So you need that auxiliary verb. That car is pulling out. So exactly the same thing, exiting, leaving the parking spot. You can use pull out or back out. Yeah. Grab it, grab it, grab it. That's a good one. Okay, how about this? Ooh, oh, this spot's a little too tight. That car's over the line. Hmm. Have you ever said this? Have you ever been the car that's over the line? What does that mean in the context of parking? This spot's a little too tight. So if you're describing a parking spot as tight, it means that it's small. So you don't feel like you have enough room to safely or easily get into the spot. And then remember, you also have to open your car door and leave the spot. And then the other person has to open their car door and get into their car. So if you don't feel like there's enough room, you can say, this spot's a little too tight, a little too tight. You could also say too small. Simply small. Native speakers often use tight, tight. This spot's a little too tight. And what's the reason why? Maybe you just have a very large car and two very large cars are parked on either side. That could definitely be why. But in this sense, that car, so the one beside you, that car's over the line. What does that mean? So in a parking lot, you have rows, right? Rows. And then within each row, there are multiple spaces where you park your car. Now, there are two lines, usually white or yellow, that tell you to enter. And that is your spot, right? But then if this is the line and then there's a car, the tire is on the line or even a little over the line, that's what this means. So the car beside you is taking up some of your spot. Yeah, you could also say that car is too close. So too close to the line or too close to my parking spot. For sure. All right. So this spot's a little too tight. That car's over the line. That car's over the line. So you finally found a parking spot and then you leave your car and it's time to go shopping. Helena, instead of complaining about parking, buy a smaller car. That's some good advice for you. Buy a smaller car. Actually, I just bought a Tesla, so I don't have to worry about parking because Tesla parks for me and Tesla can park anywhere. It doesn't matter if the spot is tiny, Tesla can get in it. So you can buy a smaller car or buy a Tesla. Okay, let's keep going. Manuel, please close the mirrors when you are in the spot. When you are in the spot, what kind of car doesn't do that automatically? The cars automatically close the mirrors. I don't think maybe 10 years ago you had to do that. Not today. Okay. Yeah, you can say there are too many cars. Too many cars. Exactly. You can say that. There are too many cars. So you can say the parking lot is crazy. The parking lot is packed. Packed is another great word as well. We generally don't say parking place. It's a spot. You can say, is there a place to park? But what you're asking about is there a spot? Okay, so you can use place, but place is not a replacement to the word spot. Spot. So, is there a parking spot? Are there any places to park? Yeah, packed. So you can say the store is packed, the parking lot is packed. Okay, so let's move on to shopping. Shopping. So you're in the grocery store now. Maybe you can say to the person, "Excuse me, where can I find protein bars?" Excuse me. So this is how you get the person's attention. So you don't say pardon me in North American English. It sounds too formal. You just say excuse me. Excuse me. And you don't say anything before that. You don't say hello or anything. You just say excuse me. Excuse me. And then the person will look at you. And as long as you have their attention, then you just ask your question. Okay. Excuse me, where can I find protein bars? So, where can I find whatever item you want? So, instead of saying, where are the protein bars? You can absolutely say that. In English, there's many different ways to say the exact same thing. If you say, where are the protein bars? That's great. Where can I find the protein bars? That's great as well. Okay, so this is one option. Helena answered. Protein bars are usually near the cashier. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's where all the chocolate bars and the impulse items are. Exactly. Mohammed, I'm going to shopping. How can we correct this? Because it's not correct now, but there are different ways we could correct this. Does anyone know? So I'm going to shopping. What do we know? What do we need here? Okay, you can say, I'm going shopping without to. Exactly. Exactly. Nice correction. I'm going shopping. I'm going shopping. Or you can go to a location. So you can say, I'm going to the store. I'm going to the grocery store. So you could say that as well. I'm going to the store. I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going to the grocery store. Do you need anything? I'm going shopping. I'm going grocery shopping. So if you just say I'm going shopping and the person has no other context, they will not assume you're getting groceries. They will think maybe you're just going to the mall for clothes. They won't know. They'll ask you, "Oh, what are you getting?" "Oh, just groceries." So I'm going grocery shopping. I'm going grocery shopping. You can say that as well. Okay. Yeah, Manuel, exactly. It's universal. It's an easy one for you. All right. I'm going to the grocery store. You can't say I'm going to grocery. Definitely not. I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going grocery shopping. I'm going shopping. Yeah, I'm going shopping. Exactly. You can go to the market, exactly, because the market is a location. You go to a location. You go plus activity. I'm going shopping. Shopping is an activity. I'm going shopping. I'm going to a location. I'm going to the market. I'm shopping downtown. Exactly. Nicely done. Okay, so the question, excuse me, where can I find protein bars? And then the person replies, the protein bars are in aisle 5 by the cereal. So remember in a parking lot, we talked about rows. Okay, so you have a space, which is the parking lot, and then you have rows. And within the rows, there are many spots where you can park. In a grocery store, they don't use the word row, they use the word aisle. And notice the pronunciation. Don't look at the spelling because the spelling and pronunciation are different. So close your eyes and listen to the pronunciation. Aisle, aisle. So aisle, aisle. So in a grocery store, it's called an aisle. In a parking lot, it's called a row. The protein bars are in aisle 5. So located in aisle 5. Now, hopefully there's a number for these aisles. Now they're giving you more information because maybe the aisle is very long. So cereal, that could be something that's easy to find. So you just find the cereal and then you look close to the cereal and you should see the protein bars. So by the cereal, by represents close to. By the cereal, located near the cereal. Okay. Yes, exactly. On a plane, when you enter the plane, when you board and you find your seat, you walk up the aisle, the aisle. And they usually say, please clear the aisles quickly so other passengers can board because there's always that one person standing in the aisle and then other people can't get by. All right. Yeah, it sounds exactly the same, but context would make it obvious that they're not talking about I will. The protein bars are in aisle 5. I'm in a grocery store. I understand that we're talking about the location of something. So there's nothing about the context to suggest it's I will. Nothing about context. But if you had zero context and I just opened my mouth and said I'll, you wouldn't know what I'm saying because context makes it obvious. We wouldn't use an ordinal number. You would use aisle and then just the number 5. Aisle 5. It's row, row, row. 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 That's for a parking lot. ROW. Yeah, exactly, Manuel. Raw means it is not cooked, and row is a line. Think of it on Excel. You have rows and you have columns on an Excel, and that's the row, the row. I'm so glad you love those videos, Elena. And this is definitely C1, C2, what you're learning here, because this is the way natives speak in the real world. Yeah, aisle is difficult for sure. I think what Manuel said, if you just think of it like the word aisle, I will, is really the same pronunciation. So just imagine you're saying I will as a contraction. Aisle, aisle, aisle. Okay. How about this? Again, excuse me. There's no other way to get someone's attention. Just excuse me, excuse me. And now, here's the question. Do you carry Good Life protein bars? So remember context. You're in a grocery store and you get the attention of a cashier or someone who works at the grocery store, and you ask them, do you does not represent the person that you're talking to. It represents the store that you're in. Do you carry? So, in this context, carry means, is this a product the store regularly sells? Okay. So, is this the product the store regularly sells? Do you carry Good Life protein bars? So, now it's not just protein bars, it's a specific brand. So, it's like asking, do you carry Coca Cola? That's the specific brand, right? Do you carry? Do you carry? Do you carry? You could absolutely say, do you have? Do you have? Do you have Good Life protein bars? Carry is very commonly used in a grocery store to understand if this store regularly has this product. Because if you buy these every week, you want to know that you can go to this store and you can buy this brand of protein bars every week from this store. Excuse me, do you carry Good Life protein bars? Is carry only for brands? That's a good question. Do you carry grapes? I would probably say, I don't know if there's a rule that says, yes, you must only use it with brands, but just from what I would use, I would say yes, because if it were just a general product, do you carry protein bars? Do you have protein? Ooh, that's a good question. I would say you can use it if it's an item that you're not sure if the store has. So let's say you enter a grocery store, okay? You know a grocery store has milk. So you're not going to say, do you carry milk? But let's say you go into a small convenience store. Or let's say you go into a bakery, somewhere that doesn't normally have milk. In that context, I would say, do you carry milk? So in this case, I don't need a specific brand. I just want to know if you regularly have this item. So thank you for your question, because as I think about it, yes, you can use carry for any item, but we generally only use it if we're not sure if it's a regular item the store has. Good question. And if you want to be safe, you can absolutely just use have. Do you have Good Life protein bars? Do you have milk? You can absolutely say that. Yes, Good Life is a brand that I made up. I don't know if this exists. Don't eat protein bars. For some reason, it's just the first thing I thought of. Okay. Not provide. Provide's not the right answer. So stores don't provide milk to you, they sell milk to you. So you would use, do you carry? Do you have? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You can just say, do you have protein bars? Just be familiar that definitely native speakers will use carry for sure. Okay. How about this one? So the person replies, okay? So you ask someone and they reply and say, let me check. I'll be right back. Let me check. Let me check. Notice that pronunciation. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. They might say something for like, I'm not too sure. I don't know. Let me check. Let me check. Check means verify. We saw this when one of the questions or one of the phrases was, can you check if we have butter or can you check if we need butter? Something like that. So check means verify. So they're going to go either look on their computer system or ask someone. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Let me check. I'll be right back. Let me check. I'll be right back. Oh, right. Yeah, you can use let me see. Let me see. I'll be right back. You can say that as well. Exactly. Let me, let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Okay, how about this? So the person goes and checks. They check their computer system and then they come right back. Hopefully, you didn't wait long. And they say, sorry, we stopped carrying that brand last month. We now carry Shark protein bars. Again, I made up this name. Shark is a brand name in this situation. Okay, sorry. So they're just expressing their sympathy or expressing their apologies because they don't have this item. It's just a polite thing to do. Sorry, we stopped and then your verb in ing. We stopped carrying that brand last month. Remember the brand was Good Life protein bars. Again, not a real brand. Maybe it is, I don't know. We stopped carrying that brand last month. So what does this mean? We stopped carrying that brand last month. It means they used to. We used to carry that brand. So if they said we used to carry that brand, you know they no longer do, because used to do something is when it was a routine action in the past, but no longer now. Okay. So you could say that as well. We stopped carrying that brand last month. We now carry Shark protein bars. So they're giving you an alternative. They're letting you know what they routinely have available. We now carry Shark protein bars. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So from now on, it's no longer available because we stopped carrying it. Exactly. Well done. All right. Okay. Awesome job. So now you finally found some protein bars. Maybe you're going to give these Shark protein bars a shot, which means you're going to try them and see if you like them. And if they taste good, you'll keep buying them. So you can give them a shot. Give Shark protein bars a shot. So you got your protein bars, your milk, your eggs, your butter, your strawberries for the weekend. And now it's time to check out. To check out. Okay? So of course, checking out is when you purchase your items. You pay for your items and then you leave the store. So these are some phrases that I commonly hear when I'm checking out. Because when I check out, I don't really say a lot as the customer. I don't say a lot. I just receive instructions, and then I answer a few questions that they ask me. So here are the questions or the statements that I commonly hear. Okay. So if I'm standing in line, let's say over here, and then this person usually will wave as well and say, I can help the next person. And then they're trying to make eye contact so to come over. I can help the next person. I can help the next person. I can help the next person. So this is what I hear the person working at the store say to get my attention. So I bring my items to her. Okay. I can help the next person. I hear that a lot. Um, I don't hear assist. It's just help. I can help the next person. I would say 99% of the time it would be help. Okay, yeah, eye contact. I can help the next person, and then you try to make eye contact. You try to get your eyes to meet. When you check out yourself, it's self checkout. Self checkout. Okay. Or maybe I go up to this person because, oh, there's nobody in line. There's nobody in line. So these, if there's other people, they would be called lines. So I would say, oh, this line is really long. Let me go to this one because there's nobody in line. But then maybe she says, sorry, this lane is closed. But you can go to number 5. Now, isn't this the a new expression? Because we saw row in a parking lot, aisle in a grocery store, aisle on a plane, but lane. So we call these lanes. Lane. Lane, okay? But then the people are in line. So you can say there's a long line at lane 5. There's a long line at lane 5. Yeah, queue. But in North America, we don't use queue. We say line, line. We understand what it means, but we just don't really use it. We say line. So yeah, in British English, they say queue. In North America, we say line. No, queue is not lane. The lane is just the area where you check out. Okay, line represents the number of people waiting for a lane, for a lane. So this is lane 1, lane 2, lane 3. And there are 5 people in line at lane 5. So there's a long line at lane 5. So I'm going to go to lane 1 because there is only one person in line. Okay. Yeah. Lane is the place to pay. Okay. But then this person says, sorry, this lane is closed, which means she's not helping anyone. But you can go to number 5. So she's telling me to go to number 5. And then maybe the person says, I can help you. I can help you. I can help you at lane 5. I can help you at lane 5. Okay. Sorry, this lane is closed, but you can go to number 5. Now, maybe you try to get in the self-checkout. That's where you scan your own items. You are the cashier. I actually love doing self-checkout. It's fun, but only with a small number of items. But maybe they say the self-checkout is broken. So if it's broken, it means it's not functioning. It's not operational. You can't use it. The self-checkout is broken. The self-checkout is broken. Okay. So you can't use it. You have to go to one of the lanes. Or you get in lane 1 because you see there is only one person in line at lane 1. And then she looks in your cart and she sees all these items. It's piled high. And she says, sorry, this is the express lane. The max is 10 items. So she's telling you that you have too many items. You can't check out here. This is the express lane. I always go to the express lane, even if I have a few more items, just a few, not too many, maybe like 10 or 13 or 12 or 13 if the max is 10. But my husband always gets mad. He always counts the items and he will not go if it's more than 10 items. I always go. Sorry, this is the express lane. The max, which represents maximum. The max is 10 items. The max is 10 items. Okay, so you can check out here. Yeah, you can say this lane is okay. It depends. This lane is closed. That is not the same as out of order. You can say that self checkout is out of order, which means broken. Out of order, out of service. That means it is not functional, okay? But closed simply means it's the opposite of open. But it's because there's hours of operation. That one person stopped working at 4 o'clock, or she's going on a 30-minute break to have lunch. Okay. So it's not because it is broken, it's because the hours of operation are done. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad that you're loving this class. It's fun. It's fun learning these real phrases. These are phrases I use every day, exactly the way a native speaker would say them, exactly the way I would say them. Okay. Now, so remember I said when I'm checking out, I don't say a lot. I usually just follow directions. Oh, I can't go here. Oh, she wants me to go over there. I can't go here. I follow directions. I follow instructions and I answer questions. So, one of the questions I always answer, the first thing they say when you put your items, do you need any bags? 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 Okay. Now, in North America, 90% of places charge you for bags. So they will charge 5 cents, 10 cents per bag. And sometimes they don't even have paper bags. You have to buy a reusable bag that may be like $1 or more. But I always bring my own bags. I have for many, many years, even before they started charging for bags. Okay. All right. So you'll just answer this with a yes or no. You won't talk a lot during checkout. Now, sometimes they always ask, do you want the meat in a separate bag? I don't know why, but do you want the meat in a separate bag? This is a question I get asked a lot. Do you want the meat in a separate bag? Now, keep in mind, in North America, meat is a more general term. If you buy like chicken or pork, they'll probably still just say meat. Fish, they would not call meat. They would say fish. So they would say, do you want the fish? Do you want the meat in a separate bag? Yeah, and separate means different. So if your strawberries, your protein bars are going in this bag, a separate means a new bag, a different bag. So in this bag, there is only meat. Okay, so it's just a common question I'm asked. Do you want the meat in a separate bag? And here's another question. So at the end, they finish scanning all the questions and they might ask you something about points or rewards, or if you're a member or if you have a loyalty card. So they might say, do you collect points? Do you collect points? And then they're asking if you have a membership card, and most likely it's on your phone anyway. So you can think of your scene card or a rewards card. Do you collect points? Do you collect points? And then you just say yes, and then you show them your card and then they'll scan it. Do you collect points? Or they might, this is an alternative. So they'll either say, do you collect points? Or do you have a rewards card? Now, instead of the word rewards, they'll probably use the name of their card. So do you have a scene card? Do you have I don't know a lot of different card names. Okay. So let's say there's just a different one. Do you have a triangle card? And triangle is the name of the card. And it's probably something like if you spend $100, you get $1 worth of points. And then you can use those points. Okay. Do you have a rewards card? Now, they often ask me, would you like to redeem your points? In this case, redeem is a replacement to use. So if you redeem your points, it means I have 500 points and I want to use my 500 points to pay for groceries, which is like $3, let's say. So I saved $3 on groceries. So if I redeem my points, I use 500 points to pay for groceries and I save $3 or something like that. Would you like to redeem your points? They may use the verb use. Would you like to use your points? But redeem is very common. Would you like to redeem your points? Would you like to redeem your points? Yeah. Or would you like to use your points? Exactly. And then I don't know why, but they often ask, how would you like to pay? I don't know why they need to know this, but I guess they need to push a button first. How would you like to pay? How would you like to pay? How would you like to pay? And then you just say debit, credit, cash. Those are your three options. And that's it. So now you have everything you need to know to go grocery shopping. So remember, you go shopping, go shopping, go grocery shopping. Grocery is the type of shopping. So now you don't have to go shopping because you can get this absolutely free. Just go to my website, enter your name and email, and then this will be emailed to you. And I share my best tips and advice to help you speak English fluently and confidently in only 6 steps. And if you enjoyed this lesson, put yes, yes, yes in the comments and make sure you like this lesson so YouTube will share it with other people as well, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. You're very welcome, Julia. It was so awesome having you here. How often do you go grocery shopping? If you're asking me, I go grocery shopping every Sunday. And we also go on Friday to get a few items for the weekend because we usually have some nicer food on the weekend, like strawberries and pancakes and things like that. Okay, what about you? All right, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Woohoo, Horatio. So glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for participating. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Awesome, everyone. You're very welcome. Woohoo. All right. Have a nice day as well. Bye, everyone.